I've got a confession to make. Wednesday night's Champions League matches were so boring as an Arsenal fan. So boring. For the first time in a long time, for obvious reasons, after you hear my explanation, you will know why. Everybody was conceding goals tonight. There were so many goals, and all I could think through the games, Manchester City playing Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, is, don't these guys know how to defend? It's so boring watching everybody, like no defensive discipline. It was ridiculous. Let's start with Manchester City's game versus Borussia Dortmund. That game, a lot of excitement, a lot of goals. Phil Foden, I thought, was the standout performer. Just like in their previous game against Villa, Manchester City, Phil Foden is looking really special. He didn't have a lot of impact directly on the score sheet, but he was creating so many chances tonight. Foden was on the score sheet, scored 2, Haaland with a beautiful, crazy goal. Very well taken. And then Cherki came on in the end and made it 4. And of course, they considered that one goal in the 72nd minute from Borussia. Borussia looked really out of their depth and they were just conceding opportunities, chances for fun. In terms of Man City, although they held their, they not only did they hold their own, they were in control for most of the match, right? But they were still letting Borussia get behind them a few times. Some chances went over all across, not on target, but some chances, Donnarumma had to save them. And that, for me personally, where I'm coming from, I think there were too many. They're really leaving themselves open for a better team to score against them. So I think Manchester City are very vulnerable in the Champions League, and there's a lot of work to do there. Now, Club Brugge hosted Barcelona, and what a disaster of a match for both teams. Barcelona were so lucky to get away with drawing this match 3-3 because Barcelona, there was a goal that was chalked off for a foul on Szczesny. He's a former Arsenal keeper, and that guy is dodgy, very dodgy keeper. And to be honest, I did ask myself, Barcelona had to be really desperate to get him. He does okay because, I think in the Spanish league recently, the standard of football is really, really low. Look at Real Madrid Tuesday night Champions League yesterday. Look at Barcelona. Look at Atletico Madrid going down 4-0 against Arsenal and barely beating whoever they played yesterday. So I think that league the standards are not as good. Let's be honest, right? But Barcelona's performance was quite shocking. Very good offensively, poor defensively. They were just letting all sorts of through balls behind them. And Bruges had a lot of success. They could have won this. They could have scored 3 more goals easily. But of course, when you're playing a club like Barcelona, you have to be aware of who else. Lamine Yamal, my Ballon d'Or winner. I gave it to him, not Dembele. But that's another story for another day when I'm feeling a bit more whiny. But tonight, he had a fantastic performance. Rashford, again, did a good job. He didn't get on the score sheet, but he had good opportunities. And then this Torres guy, Fermin Torres, this boy does I was being asked, why is Lewandowski not starting? I was like, this Torres guy seems to be scoring every game that he plays. So it looks like Lewandowski will have to wait his chance to come in and make a change. And you've got Rashford as well, working really well with the other guys in the front 3. So I think it's really going to be tough to sit those guys on the bench in certain games. And put Lewandowski on. In my opinion, I've watched them a few times this season, and whatever front 3 they've got seems to be working well for them. Defensively, on the other hand, it is a complete and utter disaster. And it gives me a lot of hope because if we play them as Arsenal, we are going to have way too much fun with those guys. Honestly, they can't defend to save their lives. And our defense is sublime. So, yeah. We might concede 1, but we won't let them score any more than that. So that is something I am optimistic about. So yeah, Club Brugge held Barcelona to a 3-3 draw, and not impressive at all in the grand scheme of things. The other match I wanted to have a chat about was another draw. Qarabag surprisingly holding Chelsea to a 2-2 draw. Honestly, Chelsea, this team is so confusing. I mean, look at how they beat Tottenham so easily over the weekend. And then they go to some funny team, and then they struggled. They really struggled. That Estevao goal was fantastic early on. Garnacho's goal was amazing. But their defense, no one can defend. I think that's why everyone gets upset at Arsenal for not conceding goals, and their fans try to make it seem as if that it is boring. It's because they watch their teams week in, week out, look so vulnerable, so they need to clutch at straws. I don't want to win a game 3-1 anymore. I would rather win 1-0, not concede, not let anyone get a shot on target, and go home instead of watching Chelsea, you drawing to Qarabag 2-2. It's embarrassing. But yeah, Qarabag, I think, I don't think they were better than Chelsea on the night, but they did put in they really timed their opportunities really well. When they had them, they took them. And the draw, I think, is a decent result for them. I think for Chelsea, not so good. They should be going to teams like that and annihilating them. But it wasn't meant to be, I guess. In the other earlier game, Paphos versus Villarreal, a shock result for me. Paphos beat Villarreal 1-0. It was not a good day for their away side there. And then Ajax Galatasaray. Oh, I didn't pay attention to this one very well. I saw the scoreline. Galatasaray won 3-0. But of course, I should have known Osimhen would be involved, and he scored a hat-trick. Now, this guy, he is heading to that CAF World Cup qualifier in a couple of weeks' time, in 10 days' time, actually. So not too long from now. And he is getting ready. He is scoring for fun. Well, he had 2 penalties and a goal. So yeah, awesome performance from him. But yeah, Ajax got done by Gala. They're looking good. They're looking really good. Inter Milan, they hosted this Almaty side, and at one point, let me confirm. Yeah, at one point they were drawing 1-0, and then they won it in the end. I'm trying to see who scored their winner. I know Martinez scored, Lorato Martinez and Augusto scored the winner in the 67th minute. Very narrow win. These small teams that have joined the Champions League are sort of holding their own this season. So this sort of thing where they've increased the participation, after the second, third year, it looks like the smaller teams are using, that experience really well and really competing, because them and Paphos have had some shock results for me, I think. Yeah. I mean, they scored 1 and they look pretty good. So there you go. And then the other game, Marseille versus Atalanta. I think I expected Atalanta to win this one anyway, but it was narrow, very narrow win, 1-0 for them. Then Newcastle, the other English side that played today, played Athletic Bilbao. Oh no, I keep calling them Athletic Bilbao, but they're Club Athletic, aren't they? So it was a 2-0 win. Dan Burn and Joy Linton scoring the 2 goals for that. Let's have a look at this Champions League table, because those are all the games so far. We know the results from Tuesday night. We've already done that, but so far we can look at the table. Let's see what is happening on this table. I think we've got 36 teams this time around. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll do the top 10. I'll do the top 10. Okay, I'll do the top 12. Top of the table with 12 points and goal difference is Bayern Munich. They've got 12 points, as well as Arsenal and Inter Milan, all 12 points after 4 games. Then Manchester City with 10 points. And then we've got so many teams tied at 9, like PSG, Newcastle, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Galatasaray. They are tied at 9. So it's going to be really tight as we go. It's really, really tight. It's very competitive at the top there. Tottenham Hotspur not doing too badly. They are in 10th with 8. Then we've got 2, 4, 6 teams tied with 7 points. That's from 11th below: Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting, Borussia Dortmund, Qarabag, and Atalanta. Then Atletico Madrid with 6 points. So to be honest, it's looking very tough for a lot of teams already. There are so many big teams who are out of that automatic qualifying top 8 position. And yeah, this format is really crazy, isn't it? You know, this format, the round robin thing where everyone, you know, sort of plays a big team somewhere. It's going to make it really hard for all the big teams. You know, the way the 2 seasons ago, you find all the big teams qualifying into the last 8. It's going to be really difficult. And the competition, even with the smaller teams, is a lot tougher. So yeah, so that is literally the table so far. Bayern, Arsenal, Inter tied first, and Arsenal will be playing Bayern Munich in their next Champions League match. Now that is, for me, the most scariest of everybody. They're the only team that scare me in the Champions League. Everyone else, I don't care. But just the thought of facing Bayern Munich really, really gives me anxiety. This is the only team I've ever played as an Arsenal fan. I've ever watched as an Arsenal fan where we have lost the matches fairly. I can't even blame the referees. We just do not function the minute we hear Bayern Munich are coming to town or when we go to them. So yeah, this is going to be a very tough match. But in the end, that's the way it is. They're top of the Champions League table with Arsenal and Inter. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will be talking to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.